Now this is the Auditor General's report of November 1993, and here in Canada this would put the sponsorship scandal to absolute shame. The sponsorship scandal does not compare with the theft that happens when a government, instead of borrowing from itself, creating its own money, which only the government has the right to create, they give it over to private entities like the international banks or the private banks. The government prints a bond. The private banks then turn that bond into printed dollars, and then the government borrows those printed dollars back according to the bond. And from way back, 1867 to 1992, when this report was prepared, Canada had to borrow for real spending no more than $37 billion. Yet in 1993, our national debt stood at $423 billion. $386 billion of that was simply interest on interest. This was sent out to all the members of Parliament across the country, and it's called Canada's New Government, Turning a New Leaf. Now, I have taken the numbers that are here. The interest that we had to pay in 2004-2005 was $34.1 billion on a national debt of $494.4 billion. The next year we paid roughly the same, $33.7 billion. That's 2005, 2006. 2006, 2007, $34.8 billion. And the projected amount we'll pay in 2007, 2008, a total of $137.4 billion will be paid over that 4-year period to bankers from whom we've borrowed the money to buy the goods and services that we need for the country. The only people who have the legal right to create money is the federal government or the government of the people, because they are accountable to the people. And we're only paying out this huge sum of interest because our governments fail to abide by the law and print the money which only they have the exclusive right to. And in Canada, in the Canadian Constitution of 1867, Article 91 states very clearly that only the government has the exclusive right to create the nation's money. We have the Bank of Canada Act of 1934, and it did spell out clearly that the government should create the money, and the Bank of Canada should lend the money, not lend it, but spend it into existence for social and public projects. In Canada have the laws on our books, and the Bank of Canada Act has not been changed. The preamble reads the same. The clauses in the Bank of Canada Act are still there. The only thing that is lacking in Canada is that our politicians do not abide by the Act and do not force our government to print the nation's money. In Canada, all the shares for the Bank of Canada are held on behalf of the people by our finance minister, our federal finance minister. And he has final say by law on the creation of money for Canada. The study of money, above all other fields in economics, is one in which complexity is used to disguise truth, not reveal it. Now, here's a quote that we really must grasp, and this is where our downfall is because most people don't grasp it, because it is deliberately confused. Of all the contrivances for cheating the laboring classes of mankind, none has been more effective than that which deludes them with paper money. As a result of Gerald Grattan McGeer, the Bank of Canada became a reality, and his recommendations are the base of the Bank of Canada Act, and they still are law.
But there is no question about it that banks create the medium of exchange.
That is right. That is what they're for. That is the banking business, just in the same way that a steel plant makes steel. The manufacturing process consists of making a pen and ink or typewriter entry on a card in a book. That's all. Each and every time a bank makes a loan or purchases security, new bank credit is created, new deposits, brand new money. Broadly speaking, all new money comes out of a bank in the form of loans. As loans are debt, then under the present system, all money is debt.
When $1 million worth of bonds is presented to the bank, $1 million of new money or the equivalent is created?
Yes.
Is it a fact that $1 million of new money is created?
That's right.
Now the same thing holds true when a municipality or a province goes to the bank.
Or an individual borrower.
When a private person goes to the bank.
Yes.
When I borrow $100 from the bank as a private citizen, the bank makes a bookkeeping entry, and there is a $100 increase in the deposits of that bank, in the total deposits of that bank.
Yes.
Mr. Towers, when you allow the merchant banking system to issue bank deposits, which, with the practice of using the checks as we have it in vogue today, constitutes the medium of exchange upon which I think 95% of our public and private business is transacted. You virtually allow the banks to issue an effective substitute for money, do you not?
The bank deposits are actual money in that sense, yes.
In that sense that they are actual money. But, as a matter of fact, they are not actual money, but credit, bookkeeping accounts, which are used as a substitute for money.
Yes.
Then we authorize the banks to issue a substitute for money.
Yes, I think that's a very fair statement of banking.
12% of the money in use in Canada is issued by the government through the Mint and the Bank of Canada, and 88% is issued by the merchant banks of Canada on the reserves issued by the Bank of Canada.
Yes.
If the issue of currency and money is a high prerogative of government, then that high prerogative has been transferred to the extent of 88% from the government to the merchant banking system.
Yes.
Will you tell me why a government with power to create money should give that power away to a private monopoly and then borrow that which Parliament can create itself back at interest to the point of national bankruptcy?
If Parliament wants to change the form of operating the banking system, then certainly that is within the power of Parliament.
Gerald Grattan McGeer questioned the Commission for over 3.5 hours. Representing the Vancouver Trades and Labour Council, McGeer told the Commission, it was trying to patch up an ox cart, and that Canadian banking was a credit racket that was strangling commercial life.